Well, good Friday morning to everyone.
Yes, it makes me happy. TGIF.
I agree. I agree. I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
And we are at the end of week 2
Week
of
two.
Rayford's vacation. So we got one more week to go.
Yes.
So, and I want to say I really do appreciate everybody kind of hanging in, bearing with us,
Right.
and um, letting us do our thing up in here. It's been good. It's always tough when the captain has taken a vacation, but
He's
he
jumped the
deserves it.
ship.
Yep, yep. So he's left his crew in charge, and I don't know if
Yes.
that's a good or bad thing, but we're just kind of plugging along. So I really
Yes.
do appreciate everybody, letting us talk about the things that we want to talk about. And if you guys have anything you want to talk about, by all means, please give us a call. And for those that don't know, our number is 910-333-0139. But
Exactly.
yeah.
And I really appreciate all the callers.
Mhm.
And we've
We've
had
had
some
some really
great
good callers.
discussions.
Yes.
We've
Yes.
had some good guests.
Mhm.
I think Colonel Thomas for coming in yesterday
Yes.
about the school
Yes.
bus safety and et cetera. And I really appreciate it. It's been a good week. So,
And I finally had a kid client that's actually excited about school starting Monday. First one I've had. All my other kid clients at work are like, "Man, we don't want school starting." But this one client yesterday is very excited.
right.
Um, my little grandson, he's actually going to be going to Onslow County schools this year. He had been in private school before.
Oh,
Um, so I'm concerned, but Onslow County schools, watch out because he's got a crazy nana. So I expect him to be
oh
treated like,
God.
like the way he
Mm-mm-mm.
should. Everybody knows, he's neurodivergent. So I'll be watching, and don't think I won't call people out because I will. But anyway, he goes into his class. He's going to be in the third grade. This kid here.
Remember, you've got the Proud Boys and then you've got the Hot Mamas.
Yeah,
So
and then you got
watch out.
the nanas
The
and
Nana
the hot mamas, yeah, but
set.
he goes in of all things, 2 kids that he knew of his friends are actually in his class, so he was super excited about that. I personally don't know if I think that's, like, a good thing because I think the 3 Musketeers will probably get in trouble a lot, but maybe not, let's hope not. But last night, my daughter called me, and he was getting ready for bed, and this kid is so smart, and he's just so he's got a mind of his own, of course, and he's talking about it. She said, "Well, did you like your teacher?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I like my school, yeah. And she said, he is, and I'm glad I've got friends. He knew the 2 kids.
Right.
One of them had been in one of his classes before, so he was excited. Um, and I just think I feel bad for that teacher. Double trouble here. But anyway, but then he looks dead serious at my daughter. He said, "But what I really want to know is, wonder how many girls are in my class, mom."
Oh
And I'm like,
gosh.
dude, you're 8 years old. Do
Okay.
not want to hear this, but he's all about girls.
Here
And
we go.
oh, yeah. And I'm like, this kid here, little Casanova, always got a little girlfriend. I'm just like,
Well, he's a cutie
oh,
pie.
he is something else. And I said to my daughter, I said, we are going to have a problem when he gets older.
Oh
She's like,
yes.
the heck we will. That kid's never dating. I'm like, all right, honey. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I told
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
granddaughter last year. She began the boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
stuff and has a boyfriend, has same boy for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was giving her so much heck. I said, what's his name? Where
Mm-hmm.
does he live? What does his parents do?
Same. Yeah.
And she's like, what is this? And I said,
The
well, I'll let you know as soon as I run the background check on his parents, record check on him.
Yes.
And I said,
That's a real
that's
thing,
what
though.
grandmas do, man.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and it's funny, she's not brought him around the house yet.
She's not going to.
Now I'm going to sneak up there one
Yeah.
day and catch her.
Oh, same. My parents used to do that stuff to me. Like,
Oh,
first of all,
heck
who are their
yes.
parents? Like, seriously? So, yeah, when I was a teenager, I would try to find the probably the worst of the bunch just to aggravate my parents. Yeah.
I don't
So,
know.
yeah.
I was a good child back then.
Oh, I was a good girl. I just
I
wanted to.
dated, but I was just always the first time I dated a Marine though, and I was young in high school
Mhm.
and met a young Marine, dated him, went on a date, and we were somewhere. We were on base over at the air station at the water's edge,
Mhm.
picnicking and stuff. And he realized he was late for work, and so he had one of his buddies come in and take me home.
Oh, I bet your dad didn't like that
And
at
that was
all.
the last date.
Oh, I'll guarantee. Oh, yeah,
A
absolutely.
complete
Yeah.
stranger. I mean,
Yeah.
like, how do
Yeah.
you know this guy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
we don't do that. No. I had the
No,
same boyfriend from 10th to 12th grade, though.
that's good.
My He was a good kid. My parents hated him. They just thought he was stupid. I mean, for real.
Right.
I mean, he wasn't the brightest bulb, but he was really nice. I mean, he just,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Uh,
interesting times. But we've got a lot of things going on. The weather
yes.
was a little wacky yesterday for that.
Uh,
I hate to even read a forecast today because look, y'all, I'm gonna be honest now before we even get to it. Later on, I'm not even sure what the weather's gonna be today
oh, I'm
because
not sure either.
yesterday was opposite from what I
We've
read.
got all
So
that weather coming up from the
yeah,
Gulf all the way up, and
yeah,
it's just sliding along across Florida up
hmm
the East Coast, and the pattern is crazy.
hmm
It's either we will get it or not. Yesterday, the sky turned black.
it
Yesterday,
did, and then didn't rain a drop originally. I was like,
I got
what's
like
happening?
3 drops,
Yeah,
three little sprinkles,
I
and I'm
looked
like,
out the window at
wow,
work and I thought, what is it, nighttime? And then nothing.
right?
It's like Jacksonville's in a dome. Like it's
Yes,
like the weather goes completely around us. And it just, it'll rain over yonder, down there,
right.
nothing here. And it could be, looking like the Armageddon and still nothing. Like it's crazy.
Absolutely,
So, but
absolutely.
it feels like it rained during the night. My car was very wet, so
Yes.
it must have rained overnight, or I don't know.
Yes, it
I
was.
haven't
It
looked at
was.
my
I think it
cameras to
did rain.
see.
I know at one
Um,
time during the night I woke up and I thought I heard rain. It's hard for me to hear it though in
yeah,
my house because I have that metal roof,
yeah, yeah,
and that's over top of your existing roof, so
yeah.
it's very
Uh
soundproof.
huh.
And it's great during
hmm
those bad summer storms
hmm
where those excessive winds
Yeah,
and the one with the H word, but
yeah,
because it blocks a lot of
yeah.
that, which is great.
Well, I
Except for the
just.
garage door, I have to go out there and put wood in it and try to keep
hmm
it from just.
Yeah.
It just drives me crazy.
I don't know what it did, but it just appears to. My car looked very wet this morning. I'm like, well,
Right,
this looks like it must have rained. So, and
right.
it smells rainy outside. Rain sometimes has that
Yes,
smell. Folks, it smells rainy. I don't know if that means it's actually going to. Just saying.
yes,
So, but
absolutely.
we've had other news
Yes,
going
we had
on.
some local
Yeah.
news yesterday. Eric Whitfield, the school board member that's been under fire,
hmm
and they've been working to remove him. And he just had an emotion hearing last month. Well, it
hmm
was last month or first week of this month. I don't know, the months
I
go
can't keep
together.
everything blurs.
And they did an emotion hearing, and they were supposed to come back with a decision of whether to remove him or not.
hmm
But in the meantime, he has written a letter of resignation resigning October 31st,
hmm
effective October 31st. So he sent out an email and included our station in that email. And I'll read it for you real quick. To all interested parties, this is for real. Enclosed is my letter of resignation for the board's consideration. I assume the goals of all parties involved can be realized if my resignation is accepted. I want to say thank you to all the parties involved for being fair throughout this process. This process, though painful, has given me an opportunity for useful self reflection. A true friend can help us realize our flaws and give us the gift of an opportunity to correct ourselves accordingly. I consider you all to be my fellow Americans, and now I see that you are all true friends. My campaign tactics, though inexpensive, did inflict a lot of pain on a lot of people. For that, I do regret my actions. In the future, I plan to use more traditional methods when engaging in political activity. The board's deep respect for my constitutional rights meant a lot to me throughout this endeavor. It is with glee that even though I was relentlessly maimed, tortured, shamed, and abused, neither the state of North Carolina nor the United States Constitution were defiled in any way. The citizens of Onslow County are all true patriots of the American spirit of individual expression and defenders of our beloved freedom of speech that forces constant improvement of our government, culture, and our respect for the dignity of our citizenry. May the board and all the citizens of Onslow County accept my humblest apologies for my unconventional conduct regarding the political process. It has been an honor to serve you, and I plan to serve you again someday in the capacity that I believe will improve Onslow County's government for generations to come. God bless America, and may his power infiltrate your lives to reach their full potential in this beloved land of liberty. And his letter of resignation just simply said, to whom it may concern. I resign my position as a member of the Onslow County Board of Education effective at 11:59 p.m. on October 31st, 2022. This resignation becomes effective once it is accepted by the majority vote of the Onslow County Board of Education. So there's that. Whether they accept it or not is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
So this shall be interesting to see how this plays out. I know they've gone through a lot of expense. I've been told in the excess of 100,000 to go through all this information, the emotion hearing. And if you've not seen the emotion hearing, it is on YouTube, and you can watch it. Excuse me. And if I look at this, discussing it, if they accept his resignation at 11:58 on October 31st, he could rescind it. So I wonder now if they're, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out if the Board of Education does accept his resignation or if they go ahead and continue all the way through the process.
Well, why wait? That's like 2 months away.
Yes.
Why not just make it effective immediately?
Right.
I mean,
October 31st.
That's
too.
Halloween. I mean,
Right.
why that date? But why not September 1st or, if effective, what's today's date? August 26th
Right.
or August 31st.
Right.
I mean, I don't what's so significant about, is this going to be like, oh, trick or treat? This is my trick.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a weird date, but it's also 2
Yes.
months away. I
Yes.
mean, is there more things he wants to do as a board member prior to that? I don't know what all the board is doing. I have no idea.
I don't know. Well, maybe he'll call us. I'll ask him.
Yeah.
Why did you pick that date?
Yeah, it's just an odd date to me, but it's 2 months out.
Yes.
So interesting.
It is interesting. Well, anyway, so
I know it's been the talk of the town.
Yes, it has.
I mean,
been.
all the local news outlets have covered it.
Right, they have.
So it's been, definitely something to talk about. I mean, and he's been, a controversial, outspoken member from the get-go.
Right.
So, I mean, he's not shy about talking. So I guess we just have to wait and see what the next. I mean, this is like a saga now. So what the next
never-ending saga.
It's like a book with a bunch of chapters. So we're starting the next chapter just to see. So it'd be interesting for sure.
Yesterday we were talking about the homicide in Surf City, and they were on the lookout for the suspect, and they did make an arrest yesterday. Surf City police confirm a woman was killed at a business, and they have a suspect in custody. My understanding is that he turned himself in yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Charles Haywood, 22 of Holly Springs, has been charged with first-degree murder and armed robbery.
Oh, wow.
The victim was 42-year-old Margaret Bracey, who was killed at the Exotic Hemp Company on Highway 50.
Oh, so he went in there to buy some products.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not saying how she was killed, if she worked at the business or was a customer. I've heard things, but nothing that I can confirm.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm not even going to go there.
Right.
But his first appearance is today at 12:15 p.m. in Pender County, the courthouse there. So that was bizarre too. I can't think of any time in many, many years that Surf City seen anything like that.
Right.
So, yeah, and we're going to go ahead and put it out there. Our guess is mental health issues.
That or a drug problem.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to put it out. I really do feel like it's probably going to be something like that. So, and look, Lenoir County's breaking ground for a new SPCA center, new facility there. And right now they have plenty of animals, and I believe they're giving out reduced rates for adoption fees and stuff. So if Onslow County's empty, go on over there to Lenoir County. But check Onslow first.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have some good guests coming in today. We have a lady who is the wife of a veteran, and she's going to tell us some stories about dealing with the VA
Mm-hmm.
and what her husband's going through. So I think all you veterans out there, I'm sure you've probably got enough stories you can add to it too. So take a listen and call us if you want to while she's here, and maybe we can help with some of the questions
Mm-hmm.
and help her too. So
I was looking on here. The guy that was charged with Surf City, he's 22.
yes,
Young. I'm looking at his picture.
Yes. Yeah.
He looks like somebody I know. I mean, I don't know this guy, but he just looks like somebody I know.
Yeah. It's and Wake County Animal Center is also waiving adoption fees. If you live up in the Raleigh Durham area, there you go. Got a cute little kitty right here on the front cover.
Oh, how cute.
He's so cute.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that thing would last about 1.2 seconds in my house of the dogs.
Yes.
So, yeah, they would be like, oh, play toy.
We're talking so much about Raleigh Durham and Wake County, all that right up there. Here's a man charged after pregnant woman was shot in the head at a Raleigh intersection.
I'm telling you. There's a whole bunch of reasons why I wouldn't live up there. The traffic, the whatever.
According to the boyfriend, he believes it was road rage triggered the shooting and said she was hit in the head.
I believe. Was she killed? Or?
Yes, she was. She died.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yes.
That is
she
so
was
sad.
rushed to the hospital, and of course, they weren't able to save her. But I mean, gosh, but they have arrested a suspect in that. So
good.
Yeah.
Pine Knoll Shores has 6 swimmers were pulled from. There was a rip current. They've even got a photo of it on here.
Wow.
I'm on WITN. Look, they've showed the rip current.
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, y'all, the weather's been kind of wacky this last few days. And on days like yesterday and what's up to be today, these are not the kind of days you want to go into the water.
Right.
You just don't. So, be mindful. You can go on the internet and look at photos of rip currents and there's diagrams. And so you kind of know what to look at. Because I used to not know what they were. And then I started studying it. Now I can spot one quick.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
So, but yeah, I mean, I just think that, everyone needs to familiarize themselves. So.
Right. I don't know if you heard on the news yesterday, but we're getting a new area code for this area eventually. I mean, remember when everybody was 919 and then they divided that and we went to 910? We'll keep the 910, but they come January of 2023, they're going to start giving out 472 area codes for this area.
Oh, my
because they're running out of numbers. The area includes places like Fayetteville, Jacksonville, Lumberton, Wilmington, and Pinehurst. And the new area code will overlay the existing 910 area, meaning that the current 910 phone numbers won't have to change.
Oh, my word.
Well,
yeah.
I've noticed more and more now. It got to be like if you owned a cell phone and you moved from a state to another state, then you had to go in and change your number. But now you carry the numbers with you.
Yeah.
So it's not unusual for, half the numbers on my contact list all have different area codes, but they live here in Jacksonville.
Well, I have a lot of people here in Jacksonville that actually have a 252 area code.
Yes. Yes. A lot of that too.
I have a lot of clients that way too. So yeah, it's weird. Now, for those that like Purdue frozen chicken, I saw this yesterday.
Yes.
I had to make sure. The USDA has issued an alert. There's been a recall because some frozen chicken tenders may contain plastic pieces. And it's the ready-to-eat chicken breast tenders labeled gluten-free.
Right.
Well, my daughter eats those. I need to find out. The product may contain small pieces of clear plastic and blue dye. Yikes. So these plastic bags were produced July 12th. And they have a best if used by date of July 12, 2023, and the establishment number of P-33944 and lot number 2193. So if you have bought them, you need to throw the bags away or return to the store.
Absolutely.
But you should not eat them. And most of them were shipped to BJ's Wholesale Club, which they're mostly in the Northeast, but there's one here in North Carolina.
Right.
But still, I mean, somebody could ship you some. You could order it online and have it shipped, especially if you shop there. So if you own these chicken tenders, please throw them away. I don't want anybody getting
And I
sick
saw
or
the news last night
hurt.
where Wendy's in their chicken sandwich, they were removing the lettuce from it
I'm
until
telling
everything
you.
settles down and they can
It's
determine.
romaine lettuce. I know romaine is one of the healthiest lettuces to eat. I don't
Okay.
like one, I think it tastes weird. I just don't like romaine. My daughter loves it, but now I don't eat lettuce at fast food places. Well, I don't can't eat fast food, but or restaurants because you just don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with those salads you get.
I want to grow my own lettuce. I've never done that though. I
Oh,
think years ago, mom says I did it when my kids were young. I don't remember doing it. Maybe I did. I had one time I had a really nice garden. I don't remember growing lettuce. She says I did, but I want to try it again. I
oh.
don't know when I have time.
Next year
It's a
I'm
fantasy.
going to
Yeah.
completely
Yeah.
I just planted stuff that I don't.
Hmm.
I mean, you get so many peppers and so many the tomatoes did not do good this well at all
Yeah.
this year at all. Now my
Yeah.
celery is just a blooming and it's still
Hmm.
growing, so that's going to be interesting. But I'm going to dehydrate that
Hmm.
and use it for seasoning. So anyway, well,
Yeah.
I think I've got another news story for you. I'll hit you with it as soon as we come back from weather.
Well, I've got something here too that's very scary to think about. So, um, let's take a break. We'll do the weather and talk about something that I'll show you this while we're off the camera. We're live and local, real talk on Freedom at 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back, and according to Lee, it's actually raining outside. I
Yes.
told you I smelled it.
Yep.
Smelled like
It's
rain
raining.
when
I just
went to
went
the
peeked
car.
out the door.
Yeah.
And and it's the weather's crazy, but I'll start with the marine
Go
forecast, and
for it.
then
I
you
gotta
can
pull my
go with the
weather up.
weather that
Well, I'm
nobody knows what's
people gonna
going
call
on
me a
with.
liar, and I promise you, I'm just reading it as it's put on my screen
Right.
for me.
And the marine forecast is brought to you by Tideline Marine. Fall might be right around the corner, but the waters remain warm enough to enjoy tubing and water skiing and all the like. Really good news is that Tideline Marine has a sale on water toys going on right now. Towable tubes are marked down. You might want to take advantage of the savings. Heck, it might seem funny, but buy a new tube and it would make a great Christmas gift and give someone something to look forward to in the spring. I'd like to have one.
Hmm.
Here's something else. If you think you want to buy a new John boat or a Bay boat, Tideline has a sale going on for any boat currently in stock. $5,000 off of any new boat that you buy between now and the end of August, along with the savings. Tideline will throw in a bag containing 4 life jackets. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Today, north winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming east this afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 8 seconds. Adjacent to sounds and rivers with a light chop, diminishing to flat late this morning and afternoon. Saturday, north winds around 5 knots, becoming southeast in the afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 7 seconds. Wow. Sunday, east winds 5 to 10 knots, seas around 2 feet, and adjacent sounds and rivers with a light chop.
All right.
All right.
Today, cloudy, high of 85, scattered showers with thunderstorms possible after 2 p.m. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 70. Tomorrow, according to this, mostly sunny with a high of 89.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 71. And on Sunday, mostly sunny, high of 88. Now we'll see. Who knows? I don't even know what to say, but today, according to this, scattered showers with thunderstorms after
Right.
2, otherwise cloudy, high of 85. Well, I can go with that. It says the winds will be calm,
Right.
obviously, except in the middle of a thunderstorm.
Well, I
But
told you yesterday
yeah.
I went on to my weather app and it was saying that the waves are going to be high in the ocean and they were going to overlap on top of the piers and stuff. And I'm like, what? And somehow my weather app had changed and it was showing another state. And I'm just like, it was weird because I was like, did we miss a wave in the ocean or something?
That's funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, before you go to your story, I just
'Cause
found
that'll just
something.
rile everybody up.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah.
I know that's going to get everybody upset. Jacksonville Police Department, they have a Facebook page now, so you can go in there and look at this picture of this woman. They're looking for a woman that they say is wanted for stealing from an Eastern North Carolina adult store. The Jacksonville Police Department is working to identify the woman who is a person of interest in a larceny that occurred at Priscilla McCall's last Thursday. Now, I just want to know, what did she steal?
Well, according to those pictures, she's looking at clothes.
And she's
but
looking at clothes.
They have
but
all
an
kinds of
adult
stuff
store?
in there. Yeah. She looks.
Yeah. She looks kind of familiar, doesn't
Look
she?
up with my clients. I need to look at that picture a little
Uh-oh.
closer. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead with that dreaded story because
This
I
story
know
is awful,
it is awful.
but I know it's going to probably spark some phone calls. So, and I had heard this a few weeks ago, and I was actually in a meeting and it got brought up, but I didn't realize the extent until I just literally read this. So, it took place at New Hanover Hospital Medical Center. And the headline is Patient Dies After Waiting 5+ hours in Hospital's Emergency Department,
Right.
according to federal regulators. So, federal regulators have issued a report that say a 77-year-old woman went to New Hanover on June 6th for complaints of vomiting, weakness, unable to stand, fever at home, and this woman had a history of rectal cancer and receiving chemotherapy.
Right. Oh
She
my
was
gosh.
initially met with triage at 8:43 p.m. Was given an urgent designation but told to sit in the waiting room. At 2 a.m., she was finally reassessed 5 hours after her initial vitals were taken. At 2:04, she coded, and at 4:25, she was pronounced dead
Mm.
after the family members decided to withdraw life support measures. At the time, the local TV station down there was told the problem was not a shortage of beds, but a shortage of nurses to staff those beds. And a particular nurse told the
Sad.
WECT that entire halls in the hospital had been blocked off for use because of staffing shortages. And they were told at one point they were short 400 nurses.
Wow.
So, according to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, now let me explain how that works. So, if someone has Medicare or Medicaid, that's some very strict insurance. They have serious regulations. So they came in, they received a complaint, and they have to investigate. And what happens is if they find issues, they will pull the contract. In other
Right.
words, a doctor's office or a facility will not be able to bill Medicaid or Medicare. In other words, they can bill it, but they're not going to get paid for the services. So the inspection was conducted, and they were at the hospital from June the 21st to June the 29th to investigate complaints about that death, among other issues. Their inspection during those, roughly a week, prompted federal regulators to notify the hospital officials that the Medicare contract would be terminated on August 12th because of deficiencies. That's a big deal. That's
That is a big
huge.
deal.
So, officials re-inspected the hospital in early August, and they recommended the hospital be returned to good standing with CMS. Now, whether CMS will accept that recommendation remains to be seen, because just because they're saying we're good to go does not mean they have to say, okay, cool, we'll continue our services with you. Because it doesn't work that way. And they're tough. So they've issued a statement, said we are currently reviewing the revisit findings and do not have a set date for the review to be completed. More information will be available once that review is complete. So basically what they're doing, they're taking it slow, which I don't blame them.
Right.
Because they're paying that money out for people to be seen, be taken care of,
Right.
and it would be interesting to know what other deficiencies were noted, as if that woman's death wasn't enough. But it said more than just that, which is
Wow.
a very scary thought.
You were reading some of the
I'm going to
comments.
read. Well, I'm going to
Whoa.
read you the Novant Health. Somebody now. This is why when you are issuing a statement, you really need to have somebody write it for you or whatever. Because if this is what these people came up with, I am just appalled. So they could have done a better job, in my opinion, of saying we're sorry. We're disappointed that patients experiencing delayed care led to the survey on June 21st. The lady died.
Unacceptable.
Well, I would have never even uttered that first line. I mean, y'all could have came up with a better apology than that.
Oh, if I had,
I mean,
I
Lord have
imagine
mercy.
her family is livid.
What kind of crap apology is this? And then they went on to say, we respect and value the review process and the additional insight it provides. And we're glad that following our August 8 reinspection, CMS found we were in compliance with Medicare guidelines. Yeah, but they have not. They may have said you basically what I think happened is, yeah, y'all corrected these efficiency. You might be in guidelines, but whoever said this needs to understand they haven't said we're good to go. And
Right.
they said we're taking our time. That's exactly what they said. And it said, it's been a challenging few months at the hospital, and we've been working diligently to improve and recruit additional clinical staff. Thanks to those efforts by our dedicated team members, wait times have decreased, more beds have reopened, and our clinical teams are getting more members every week. That is a crap apology if I've ever heard. I mean,
Definitely.
y'all have been better off just to say
I
nothing.
smell a lawsuit.
I mean,
If
yeah,
I was that family,
I mean,
yeah.
that's terrible.
I mean, we all know
No.
there's a shortage of nurses.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
understand that, but gosh darn, for someone, how many hours she sat there? 7
Five
hours?
5 hours before when she finally coded.
Right.
I mean, look, I know I have a lot of nurse friends, and they are overworked.
They
Absolutely.
are. Yes.
But come on, you can't, you got to just make the best of it and figure it out and get people back. That woman, I'm not even a doctor, and she sounded like, it was something super serious. And I'm not a doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why.
Look, let me tell you something. You think that, but that's awful.
It is awful.
So, but it's good to know that Medicaid and Medicare, which I knew, they take this stuff seriously, and they will, especially when something involving a death. Good, and they spent from the 21st to the 29th investigating. Good on them, because it's going to be hard to falsify documents and stuff in that short period of time.
Right.
Because you hear about that stuff happening all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you think we've got weather problems? Did you hear about Pearl, Mississippi? I have no idea where that is. The they had a freak storm that happened quick, and the fish were flopping around in parking lots. A daycare had to be evacuated, and kids were,
Whoa.
yeah, deputies had to go through knee-deep water to take the kids to a elevated truck because they couldn't get out of the flooded daycare. The daycare flooded.
Right.
And then 40 residents of a nursing home flooded out. They had to get them out. And
My goodness.
people were catching fish near the people's cars. They were
Sounds
just
like
flopping around.
sounds like when Hurricane Harvey hit the
Yes,
Gulf
crazy
Coast of the
stuff.
states
Yes.
there. My
Wild. It's
gosh.
just wild, wacky weather.
Hey. Well, good morning, Robert. I see Robert's
Mhm,
with us this
mhm,
morning. And I did want to send out a special hello to a new listener this morning, Fred Britton.
mhm.
I worked with him at the post office, and he works with a lot of veterans now, helping veterans and
Good.
veterans issues. So I invited him to listen this
Mhm.
morning, and he's listening. And I just wanted to say hello. And I also have another friend, Alan, that's been in Wake Forest for over 31 days. So hopefully, he gets out of the hospital soon.
Well, I
But
hope so.
yeah. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing
Mhm.
well this morning.
Yeah.
And thank you all for listening.
Mhm.
Hey, here's something else. We were talking with Colonel Thomas with the
Mhm.
sheriff's office yesterday about school safety
Yeah.
and bus stop safety and when not to pass a school
Yeah.
bus.
Yeah.
Here's something else that we didn't really talk much on, didn't think about it yesterday, but posting your child's picture online for the first day of school is a trend that helps mark all the milestones of the first day of school.
Mhm.
But sharing too much information could have its consequences. When you post your pictures on your Facebook page, don't post the child. I mean, you might want to say the first name or something,
Mhm.
but posting the child's full name, school interest, and teacher, and other information
Mhm.
like classroom, teacher's name, the school name, that could make the child a target.
Heck
So
yeah, it could.
limit your
Yes.
information.
Absolutely.
Limit, but hey,
Yeah.
I can't wait. I
Mhm.
love the first day of school postings and the pictures,
Yeah.
and I just can't wait.
But just don't, I very rarely post my grandson's name when I
Right,
post his picture on there.
right.
Most people that know me know his name anyway,
Yes,
but I call him Prince K.
yes.
That's my nickname. Well, I have two other nicknames, but for him, but that's when I call him because I would never post my other one because he would answer to that to
Right,
somebody, and
right.
it's not something. One of my favorite nickname for it. Most people don't know because my brother is convinced that when he gets older, he's going to be very embarrassed. He says, "Are you
Right.
still going to call him that nickname when he's older?" Absolutely, and he'll
Right.
answer to it because he loves his nana. But
Yes, of course he does.
I mean, I refer to him as Prince K because he is my little prince. So,
Right.
and he's the
And he's
best.
adorable.
Yeah, he's something
Yep.
else. A little ladies' man that he is.
Whew.
We're gonna have to do something about that.
Yes.
I'm not having this. He's 8 years old. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's take a break.
Yep.
We have a guest coming in the studio, but we're
Yes.
live and local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back, and we have a special guest in here
Yes.
in the studio this morning.
We
We
have
have
Tracy
Tracy
Parks.
Parks.
Yes.
Yes. She is a wife of a retired Marine.
Yeah, Master Sergeant.
Yep. And he was a biological weapon. I'm gonna call it a specialist. I know there's an actual name for it, but that's what we're gonna say for people that don't quite understand. So basically, he would go around and he was exposed to a lot of these if there was threats or if there was issues. Correct? Isn't that kind of what he did?
Yes, ma'am. So his job in the Marine Corps, the acronym is pronounced CBURN.
Okay.
So it stands for Chemical, Biological, Radiological, Nuclear Warfare.
Okay.
So they would look for live agents and prepare for that. So some examples, if you're old enough to remember when Senator Daschle's office received anthrax, he was there to sample and clean up. So he had a couple of those, several tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and of course, training and working with live agents.
Okay. Right. And basically you're trying to raise awareness of the effects of what his service
and the
has
need
done
for help.
and the need for help. And
Right.
I'm going to say, you know, well, I'm a wife of a veteran. I am a daughter of a veteran, a niece of a veteran, my father-in-law with 3 tours in Vietnam. I mean, and I'm a counselor, and I work with a lot of military. I have a lot of active duty and retired and just veteran clients, and a lot of them are in the VA system. And I have been a very outspoken proponent of what I feel is often substandard care by the VA. These veterans often don't get what they need because backlog. I think it's a lot of it bureaucracy, etc. But you're here to talk about him and his your struggles and your I call it a fight because I think that's what it is.
To get help.
Yeah, to get
to
help.
take care of him when all this is attributed to his time that he served in the military, and he was in the Marine Corps, retired as a master sergeant, and he was in the United States Marine Corps from 1990 to 2015. And since then, he's been diagnosed with many things. The symptoms started in 2013.
Yes, ma'am.
And he's first diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2017.
Correct.
Right. And then his diagnosis was upgraded to Parkinson's MSA-P in 2019 due to the rapid progression of the disease.
Right. So he retired in 2015, and a few years before that, he started having just some odd things happening to his body.
Right.
And then as that progressed, when he retired, the VA, he's 100% service related, disabled, and they attributed it to exposure from his job in the Marine Corps. So he had Parkinson. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2017, and his symptoms just progressed so rapidly that he saw a movement disorder specialist neurologist who diagnosed him with a rare terminal form of Parkinsonism called multiple system atrophy.
Right.
And like the name says, your systems start shutting down.
Right.
So the life expectancy for that disease is 7 to 10 years from the onset of symptoms. So he's at about year 8. His condition right now, he is wheelchair bound. He has a trach, a feeding tube, and a catheter. He can't speak, and he can't eat anything by mouth. He has a bit of movement. So he's a Marine, so he's very stubborn.
Yeah.
So every day he has is one that he fought for.
Yeah.
Right.
But he can get up a little bit. And he tries to do what exercising he can every day. And he's pretty stubborn. So his personality is still him. Cognitively, he's 100%, but he does require 24/7 care. And I would like to say that the VA has been very good to us in certain areas with medical equipment and medical supplies. So I definitely, we are very grateful for that.
Awesome.
Because he requires a lot. And where we're struggling and where it's very critical is with care for him.
Yeah.
So last September, he was life flighted from Camp Lejeune to Womack Army Medical Center in Fort Bragg. Camp Lejeune doctors saved his life. Every single, he was very blessed. We said God put the right people in front of him, because from the corpsmen to the nurses to the ER doctors to the surgeons, they saved his life. He was bleeding, throwing up blood, and it was coming from his lungs. They put a balloon on one side so it wouldn't go over to the other side, and life flighted him. During the life flight, the balloon slipped, but fortunately, his body had stopped bleeding for that period of time. And he got to Womack and had the best surgeons take care of him. He had surgery to remove part of his lung from chronic aspiration. And that's part of the disease where just his swallowing muscles and all of that don't work anymore. And so even on just his own saliva, he will aspirate. So those doctors saved his life. So he's been incredibly fortunate to have great doctors take care of him. But when he came home, he was in acute care for several weeks, and he was in rehab for several weeks. So it's been a really tough year. But when he came home, he now requires 24/7 care. And it requires a nurse. They have aides, but they can't take care of somebody with a trach. They can't give feeding tube, food, and meds. So we have just been struggling to get help. I mean, I'm one person. We're young-ish. So we have a teen daughter at home, and I work full-time. My job has been amazing to me in allowing me to telework until I can figure everything out. But when I called the VA to ask them, what support we could get, I was told by the Fayetteville VA that the only way he would receive full-time in-home nursing care is if he was on a ventilator. And I said, that's the only option. And she said, maybe you should put him in a nursing home. And I said, well, I promised him I would never do that. And she said, we all make promises we can't keep.
Oh, no, ma'am.
And then I said, he's 49. He has young onset. He has a young onset terminal disease. And I said, he's only 49 and we have a teen daughter at home he'd like to see grow up as much as he can. And she said, well, maybe your daughter could help more. And it was just very devastating. I'm trying not to get upset. But so
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So we've just been really struggling with that. And ironically, the VA does have a program. It's called the Caregiver Program. And they, if you are approved, they provide you a stipend.
Correct. Yes.
Monthly stipend.
Yes, I know what that is. Yes.
Yeah. So I applied for that so that I could help buy some care. And I think because of his age, as related to his condition, you don't see that in someone of his age. So it's very confusing to them. And so they came out to see us, and they said we were the youngest couple to be approved for the caregiver program. And I think they saw how frazzled I was. So they had somehow managed to get me 6 hours of respite care. So I used that respite care to go into work to, get a little bit of time there. And there was a small amount of time between when I left for work and the nurse showed up, maybe 30 minutes. And he's okay as long as he doesn't try to do anything. And in that time, he reached for something and fell out of his chair.
Oh gosh.
So the nurse couldn't get in. So she called the police. They broke in. Well, of course, the company has to report it to the VA. And someone told them to call Adult Protective Services on me that I was leaving him alone too much. And so we were devastated. My husband was not happy, but the goodness in that, it caused the VA to have to give us some kind of care. So we do get 2 8-hour days of nursing care. And so that has been a tremendous help. So I can get to work a little bit, but I keep saying, I don't know what to do. I need help. Even even just having care so I can go to work, that doesn't account for, then it's home, take care of him.
Right.
You get up several times at night, I have to turn him or help him. So I kind of, as you, I have lots of family that's military related. And so we've been calling around to other VAs and they're like, no, he rates, one VA said he rates 7 days a week, 365 days a year of in-home nursing care. I had posted on Veterans with MSA Facebook page that I was coming to talk with you guys. And a gentleman said, I am 100% service related, disabled, requiring in-home care. And my VA gives me 7 days a week in-home care.
Okay. Let's take a quick break. We will be right back. We're live in Local Real Talk and we'll have questions. If anyone has any questions, you can call us at 910-333-0139. We'll be right back. And we are back. And in the studio, we have Tracy Parks, who's here to talk about her husband, who is retired Marine, who is contracted a rare form of Parkinson's, a very severe form of Parkinson's through his military service. And she's had, she's here to talk a little bit about some of the struggles she's had just trying to get daily care
Right.
for him. We also have Pete Benton in here. He's in. How are you?
Pete's
Good
going
evening.
to
Glad to
be
be here.
working with the lieutenant governor on his military affairs committee.
Yeah.
And he knows Tracy, so I thought it was fitting that he come in here too,
Yeah.
because he's going to help us with this. We're going to push it. We're going to help push what we can. Now, your husband is 100% disabled.
Yes, service related. Yes, ma'am.
Service related.
Mm-hmm.
And see, to me, that's, I'm looking at the pictures of him in his military service time. Handsome man, tall, looking very distinguished in his uniform. And now I'm looking at pictures of now with the disease that's ravaging his body. And it makes my heart break.
Mm-hmm.
He's given so much to this country and done so much. Now, he worked with, there was an episode with anthrax with one of the senator's office. Talk about that.
Right. Senator Daschle's office
Right.
received that letter, and it had anthrax. So he was with Seabirth at that time. So they went into his office, did sampling, and then cleaned out his office from that. And that one
Right.
picture, he's in there. The office is destroyed from them cleaning it, but you can see him and another Marine holding up the
Right.
American flag.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes. I'll tell you. I mean, that's a tough job to do, dealing with all types of biological and radio and
Yeah,
Radio-
it's a hard thing to say.
radiological.
radioactive
Yeah,
type
yeah.
material. Yeah. Gosh, it just wouldn't come out. But and so and he was exposed to all this, and that's what's caused his disability. So I would think that the VA would do everything they could.
The
mean-
U.S. government
Right.
owes it to him and others like him
That's right.
because they have went above and beyond. And this is, just based on what we talked about off air about a lot of, he can't speak and he can't eat and he really can't walk.
Right.
There's a whole lot of can'ts he can't do. He is terminal. There is no excuse for you guys having to even struggle with getting a nurse to come into the home. If there has ever been a time where the word unacceptable has been used,
very much
this
so.
fits it. And if this doesn't make people's blood boil that are listening, I don't know what will. This is beyond unacceptable. And the fact that you keep getting, the runaround and, excuses made and whatever. This should not be happening. And I know it happens a lot, but if people don't start, rattling cages and screaming from the rooftops, it will never change. This man, because how many people can honestly say out there that they would join the military and put themselves in harm's way, which is way what he did, to possibly face this kind of outcome? How many would say they would do it? Because I guarantee you there's a whole lot of people that say, well, I would never do that.
Right.
This guy is beyond a hero, and you should not be having to come on a radio show just to talk about how much help you need. This is, but yet we can let people in our borders and give them free health care and cell
Yep.
phones and
Yep.
whatever.
Send
And
20
he
billion
can't get a
to
nurse.
Ukraine. All right.
He cannot even get a nurse.
Pay off college loans.
So
Yeah.
for all of you guys
I'm just-
listening, if
I'm
this
mad.
doesn't make you mad, then I don't know what will.
That's
period.
right.
Because it
Right.
makes me mad.
So what exactly are you getting presently from the VA as far as health care for your husband?
So for nursing care, we get 2 8-hour days a week, and I get 1 6-hour day on the weekend. So I can't leave him. So that gives me the opportunity to go to the store, run errands, stuff like that.
Right.
And then I private pay because,
See, you shouldn't have to private
You
pay.
should not be having a
That's-
private
that's
pay.
just wrong.
Bottom line.
well, and really I'm trying to get them to help me so that I can level set.
Yes.
he doesn't want overnight care right now, and I know he is suffering at night so that I can sleep as much as I can. But I do have to get up a couple times a night to help him move and stuff. But when it comes to that, there's no way that we can afford that care.
Correct.
So I'm just trying to get some help. And we've talked to other VAs, and they say that he does rate it. And so there's some disparity between these VAs. And from what I can understand, it's one person making this decision. And that's just a single point of failure. There's nowhere to go. We applied for a grant to adapt our vehicle for his wheelchair. It took a long time, took 2 years, but they had a process where they disapproved it. They didn't understand his condition. Most everything is related to wounded in combat. So loss of limb, all the applications you see are like that. So they don't really understand how to deal with something that's a disease related. And so, but they did have a process. You could reapply. And then if it still was denied, you could request higher level adjudication. But with this one person, she's it. She makes the decision, and she says no, and there's just nowhere to go.
It absolutely should not be that way.
No,
Bottom line, it
That's right.
just should not be that way. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what, why that I think that it's going to take contacting, getting congressmen involved, but also getting military, leaders involved as well, because this could happen to anybody. I mean, this is, and there's,
and it's no telling how many it has happened to. We just don't know the stories, and they've suffered in silence.
Well, his movement disorder doctor said that they see a lot of Agent Orange for Parkinson's.
Parkinson's, Agent
they have
Orange.
about 2,000 patients. 10 of the patients have MSA. So it's very, very rare.
Yeah.
But she says she anticipates seeing more of Phil's age.
Yeah.
And Phil told them, yes, I think I'm the start of what you're going to be seeing. And so part of this is we need help.
Yeah.
We personally need help for our family. I'm trying to get it out. I'm sorry.
You start, I'm going to be right there with you. So
but,
it's okay though.
But just hearing other stories at least with this specific VA, I told my husband, maybe your role is to help these other people.
Rattle the cage for the future.
Because in this situation, it's very hard to fight for something. We're struggling to keep him as healthy as we can, to keep myself working, to not lose sight of our daughter, and to keep our family unit together.
Yes.
And so, people are like, "Why don't you report it right?" I don't have the emotional ability or time to fight these things. And so my sister, we call her the Justice Warrior. She's really been championing for us and doing all that legwork, calling you Pete and Yuli.
I talked to her, yes.
And, so I just think about what other families are in our situation that they just can't do it. We just physically, the second and third order effects, we do have this nurse for 8 hours, but she's working part-time.
Right.
If her company has a requirement and it's a full-time, we could certainly lose her at any moment.
Right.
And they've built there's a personal, it's not just their professional ability, there's a personal relationship there. You're bringing somebody into your home, and she's wonderful. And so for me, it's just heavy weighted on you that all these things that could happen. I get sick. I had COVID a month or so ago. And you just worry, what if we actually both were in the hospital at the same time during this last year? So you just are like, gosh, you have that cloud over you all the time about what if this happens? What if this happens?
Who's going to take care of
Yes, ma'am.
Who's going to take care of my daughter? How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to go grocery shopping? And it shouldn't be that way. I mean, we should be taking care of our veterans. We need to do a better job. And this is so unsatisfactory, unacceptable. It
Mhm.
just appalls me that this man has given so much to this country and that we're not helping him.
I agree. I mean, I think this is, the amount of care that you're not getting
Right.
that you should be getting, and that, like I said, if there's anyone who rated better care, it is your husband
That's
and your
right.
family.
Oh,
Bottom
yes.
line. Bottom
Exactly.
line.
So, Pete, let me ask you this. What would
Absolutely.
Walter B. Jones be saying right now?
Well, it's interesting you say that. I worked with Walter many years ago, back in the 90s, in the late 90s. Did Lenny have to take the 6-part anthrax vaccination?
Yes.
Okay. There are some major issues with that. And I'm going to share a story with you that is quite interesting. I was at the 916th Air Refueling Wing at Seymour Johnson, and several friends of mine who were pilots and aviators were reserve wing. We fly tankers, KC-135Rs. And several friends of mine came to me and said, Pete, we've got a major issue with the anthrax vaccination program. Okay. So they said people are becoming extremely ill. They're losing their flying status. They're losing their reserve positions, because it was a 6-part series shot that you had to take before you went into overseas locations. So when I was looking at Lanny's background, he was in the chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear warfare. I've been through that training. Everyone in the military has to go through that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the anthrax vaccination program, when we started to look into it, I called Walter immediately, and he said, he was vice chair of the Armed Services Committee. They sat down and started investigating the anthrax program and found that there were major health issues. People were becoming deathly ill.
Yeah.
So
It's terrible.
I'm wondering here if the anthrax vaccination program he was subjected to has some bearing on this, his Parkinson's, diagnosis. Another thing I'm thinking as well, there's a lot of holistic modalities and treatment programs up there. I'm going to do some research for you that might be able to help him. I know that I've always been interested in holistic medicine. I think holistic medicine, like for instance, acupuncture, nutritional supplementation, massage therapy. There's a lot of things I think that might be explored, and I've got some addresses and some contacts for you that I'll share with you. But there's a saying that I heard many years ago when I was serving in the military. It said, you can tell a lot by a country by the way they treat their veterans.
Absolutely.
So
It just bothers me that the VA, his prerequisite for getting full-time health care is only if he's on a ventilator. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
And I think they just don't understand. And Pete, it's interesting that you say that, because we looked into, does the VA provide massage care? Because it has to be in our home. So calling out in town, most don't do that. And physical therapy. So when he, after he had a surgery and was rehab, part of the rehab, the VA sent in a physical therapist twice a week. But to the VA, physical therapy is a recovery tool. It's not a maintenance tool. But with this disease, like with Parkinson's, if you don't keep moving, then you stop moving altogether. And his Parkinson's, this is all new to me. I mean, I've never cleaned a trach before. I've never done anything like this before. The only thing I knew about Parkinson's was Michael J. Fox and shaking.
Right.
Yeah.
And Phil doesn't have that. His name's Lanny, but we call him Phil. He has rigidity. So I call it his Barbie hand, Barbie doll, the hands cupped like that. And so his is all stiffness. And, the VA is like, well, they'll teach you how to move him. I'm like, but I have to move him all day. My arms, I've been to the doctor twice for my arms, with pain in my elbows, my hands, even my knuckles, I'm not a nurse, so I'm probably doing it the wrong way, or a physical therapist. So it took some time, but his local VA primary care doctor was very helpful in getting him continued. So without that, he would, I don't think I could move him. So she is like his best buddy. She's just amazing. And he looks forward to her coming twice a week. And so getting them to understand that the conditions, I don't know how many other conditions the VA deals with that aren't limb related, but it's getting them to understand what that entails and what that vet needs in order to thrive as best he can.
Well, we need to do better. We absolutely need to do better.
Absolutely. And, with the amount of, my father-in-law had Parkinson's from Agent Orange, and the government recognized that he was, and paid him heftily, I guess, as we're sorry for you contracting this. And that's what we lost him to, is this. But, so I fully understand the, challenges faced with veterans. But what I'm getting at is, as many veterans that were subjected to Agent Orange during the Vietnam War, the VA, there's no way they can say they don't know how this works with as many veterans in VA care that from Agent Orange exposure, because there's thousands upon thousands. There's a lot so that excuse that, well, we don't know, I don't buy it. It'd be one or two, that'd be one thing. But I know for a fact there's not, based on the number at the time, that when my father-in-law had it, that he has dealt with. And someone just texted me locally that they have issues. Their stepfather has issues based on Agent Orange, and they only get 6 hours of respite a month.
Yeah.
Absolutely unacceptable.
Well,
Bottom line.
It's not just the physical health care,
But
but
it's
the
the
mental
mental.
health care is so important too. And
yeah.
not just for him, but for the entire family. I mean, y'all serve too.
Yes.
The family serves too. And we need to be there for you. And we need to help him. And this is just, I can't even say what I'd like to say, but
You do lose.
just,
Without that help, you become more of a caregiver than a spouse.
right.
Yeah.
More of a caregiver than a daughter.
Right.
And so I really try to ensure that, okay, I will do that. But my daughter is going to have a relationship with her father.
Right.
She's not going to be his caregiver. She'll help,
Right.
but that
And
is
that's
not going to be her
important.
job. She's going to have whatever time she has left with him.
Right.
It's going to be impactful.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just, I have no words.
Let's take a break. We're live in local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. If anyone has any questions for Tracy, you can give us a call at 910-333-0139. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back, and we have in the studio Tracy Parks and Pete Benton. We also have a caller on the line. Caller, hold on 1 second. We just want to knock the weather out very quickly. Take it
Yeah,
away, Lee.
we're going to be like a windstorm here.
Yeah.
Okay, your marine forecast is brought to you by Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Today, north winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming east this afternoon, seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 8 seconds. Saturday, north winds around 5 knots, becoming southeast in the afternoon, seas 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 7 seconds. And Sunday, east winds 5 to 10 knots, seas around 2 feet.
Okay, today, according to this, it's going to rain, just so you know. Cloudy otherwise, a high of 85. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 70. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 89. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 71. And on Sunday, mostly sunny, a high of 88. All right, good morning, caller. Who's this?
Hey, Roy Spinner here. How are you this morning?
Good,
Good
good.
morning,
How are
Royce.
you?
Commissioner.
Good morning, Tracy, Pete, Lee, and Kelly.
What's on your mind?
Maybe, yeah, I wanted to maybe add a couple things in this conversation. It's a very sad situation, Tracy. I'm sorry. I don't know if you've tried the county veteran services for any help, but they might be able to help you. But I also wanted to mention that I think Congressman Greg Murphy's going to be here for an event tonight, celebrating, remembering the 13 that were lost in Afghanistan a year ago. It might be an opportunity for you to get in his ear as a physician, you know.
Yeah, we're already making plans on making
Hitting up
Congressman
with
Murphy
him.
aware of this
Yes,
and Senator
yeah.
Taylor. So,
Yeah.
but thank you for that.
Good.
Yes.
Good. And you mentioned counseling services for not only veterans and the families, but I just was able to confirm yesterday that veteran services, the VA Vet Services is going to have a representative at my event tomorrow from 12 to 3 at 2820 Henderson Drive. So
Now,
they
who was that
do
again?
counseling. That is Vet Services.
Oh, Vet Services. Okay.
Yeah, Veteran Services. That's the VA program, and they do counseling for veterans and veteran families. Any immediate family of a veteran that needs counseling, they're available for that. So maybe that's a service that you might look into, or some of the listeners might need to look into. So, like I said, there'll be somebody at 2820 Henderson Drive from 12 to 3 tomorrow afternoon. And if you want to have lunch with me, you can do that too. We'll have some barbecue and hot dogs.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah. All right. Y'all have a good day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
That was Commissioner Royce Bennett. So, yeah, and I do think, hitting up Congressman Murphy
Yes.
tonight.
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to. Well,
This will make his blood boil, I'm telling you
Yes,
right now.
yes.
I know, absolutely know it will. Yeah. So,
well, I
yeah.
can certainly go out there and hand him this package here, but I want to make copies of it first. But I am definitely going to send him a clip from this interview today,
Mhm.
so he can listen to it for himself. So
I got people text me, asking me questions. I can't talk and talk at
Yeah,
the same time.
I know
It's a
it.
struggle.
the boss was
Yeah.
texting us earlier too. We're just trying to not to, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, if I could, I just want to
Yes.
thank you, Pete. It's been over. It has to be at least over a year because Phil
Correct.
was life-flighted a year ago. So we were at Mission Barbecue, which was Phil's. That was Phil's place, and you had come up to us and introduced yourself to Phil and were very kind to us and checked up on us throughout the year and a half. And you're one of the reasons we're sitting here today. And
Right.
so I just really appreciate it. You didn't have to do that, but you did. And so I think that's a testament to anybody. If you see somebody,
Mhm.
just strike up a conversation. It may lead to
Right.
something bigger.
Right.
And I have never done anything like this before. So
You've
I've
done-
been very hesitant, and I know I've put it off. We did they have a congressional inquiry, but it's been 3 months, so nothing's happened. And so
Right.
you guys were kind of our last hope. And so I just
Oh.
really appreciate you having us
We
here.
won't be the last. We won't be the last. I guarantee you that. We're going to help you, and I know personally I'm going to help push us through to some of the congressmen and senators that I know, and we're just going to kind of keep it going. And we have another news organization that may be picking it up, a national news too, that we're working on. So we're going to do what we can to help. I mean, we have to take care of our veterans. They were there for us, protecting us, giving up so much for us so we could sit here and be on the radio every morning.
Mhm.
And then go home and mow our yards or whatever. But we need to be there for them and for the families too. And it shames me that our nation is not doing more to help our veterans, and we're spending all our money sending it elsewhere. And that could start a whole nother topic right now and probably have me screaming. But
Mhm.
this is sad. And being the daughter of a Marine and growing up right here, I love my military. I really do. And I honor them and I honor their families for what they give in order that their spouses can be there for us. So we need to do better. We absolutely need to do better.
Well, I'll tell you, my husband, our family and friends always joke that God created him to be a Marine. It is
Yeah.
it is
sounds
what
just like
he
my
was
dad.
born to do, and he
Yes.
loves the Marine Corps. And I
Right.
was telling you that he doesn't talk about how he feels. He's not going
Right.
to talk about his feelings, but he'll talk to me about his condition and what he needs. So I'm like, how do I figure that out? How he's doing?
Right.
And so I ask him the same question every month or so,
Mhm.
and I tell him, if you had to do it over again and you enlisted in the Marine Corps and this was the only job you could have and you knew this was going to happen, would you do it again? And every time he has said yes.
Mm.
And I say, that is an incredible life.
Yes.
There are not many of us that could say that. Aside of
Right.
my daughter, I don't know that there's anything I've done in my life that I would be willing to do again if that was the condition. But he loves the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And so it hurts my heart
Yes.
that I don't know how he feels about it. If he feels like
No.
they're letting him down or
Mhm.
what have you, but he has given
Teared up.
every part of him.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely, and
Right.
more. He is absolutely given everything. He is given his body and his ability
Yes.
to eat and ability to walk
His
and
family
his
time.
everything. Absolutely. And he
Right.
is getting nothing in return, and that is unacceptable.
It is
Period, bottom line.
unacceptable. It is.
Yeah.
We should be there for him as a nation.
Mhm.
Our government should be there. Our military should be there for him.
Mhm.
And because this type of disease, it doesn't have a long lifespan.
Right.
And so why not give him everything that we can give now?
Mhm. I
you
agree.
know? So this is just, this, I don't know, I'm going to go out and kick a wall in a minute.
But I think this is a first step in, putting the
Right.
word out there and letting people, they automatically think, oh, the VA is going to help everybody. And they've done a lot of good things, but they've got a long way to
Right.
go.
Right.
Long way to go. If we can pay off student loans at several $billion, then we can pump some money
Right.
into the VA to care for our veterans. Bottom line.
Absolutely.
Bottom line.
Absolutely. I mean, we can pay off student loans. We can let all these immigrants come into the nation and give them stimuluses and pay for their health care. And the list goes on and send the billions of dollars overseas to help another country. But we can't take care of our own.
But I think it also starts too with rattling cages.
Yes, we have
And-
to rattle
And,
cages.
that's with our people in government because, I think it's time, you hear all the time about even parents with school boards and say, we're taking our areas back. It's time to let these elected people know we elected you here. We can unelect you. Do what you were elected to do,
Right.
period. Don't go up there and provide lip service. If you don't do XYZ, it doesn't take 3 terms or 5 terms to get something done. Get something done when you say you're going to. Start from the get-go. The minute you raise your hand and say, I take this oath, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
and get working. And if you don't do it, say we're going to find somebody who will, and then elect that next person. I think for too long we just let these elected officials provide lip service and not hold them accountable. It's time to start holding people accountable. And
That's
when
right.
you hold people accountable and they want their job and want to continue that paycheck, they imagine that they will start doing what they need to do. And I think that's what we need to do. Even with the VA, a lot of times people think they get a government job and they're untouchable. Absolutely not. Make them not, make them touchable,
Mhm.
basically.
Well, I
Period.
think that's the rattling the cages.
Mhm.
You always need people like Pete because
Mhm.
those of us who are living it are just trying to.
You're just trying to survive
Yes.
day to day.
Yes. And so it's very
you need
difficult.
those warriors.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, taking it to a different place here. Has he received any medals of honor of any kind?
He has. I think it's in his bio.
Oh, okay.
I'm not good with that.
I'll look and see.
Um,
It's all the way in the very back.
Okay.
The last.
Got it.
That's right here.
That's little.
I
right
saw
here.
it earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It is right. Okay, I saw it on here. The Air Force Achievement Medal, the Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal, Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal, Joint Services Commendation Medal, and a Meritorious Service Medal. Yep.
I think he's missing a few there, don't you, Pete? No, seriously. I think he's missing a few that he's earned.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Meritorious Service Medal is the highest medal that can be awarded during, peacetime.
Right.
And then would be the Joint Service Commendation, because that's Joint Service, Marine
Mhm.
Corps Commendation, and the Achievement Medal. So he's
Right.
highly decorated.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could think of a few more that needs to go his way, though.
The Marine Corps is the toughest branch of service to be awarded decorations. They
Yeah.
don't give
Huh.
them
We
lightly.
gotta fix that.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So we have a caller.
Maybe.
Good morning, caller. Who's this?
All right.
Hello, you there? Okay, they hung up.
Yeah, they'll
So
call
caller, call back. Our number is 910-333-0139. And we're going to go ahead and take our break just a couple of minutes early. We're
Yeah.
live and local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back, and we'll be wrapping up here in just a few minutes. We
Yeah.
have Tracy Parks in here and Pete Benton, and Tracy's husband served the Marine Corps very proudly. He's retired
Right.
Master Sergeant, and he has been diagnosed with a very rare form of Parkinson's, which is 1,000,000% related to his exposure to chemical and biological weapons.
Right.
We have a caller.
And his combined service connected evaluation is at 100%. So they have accepted that this is service related.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. Good morning, caller. Who's this?
Good morning. This is Chris Rayner from Sports Talk. How are you guys?
Good. How are
Good
you?
morning. How are you?
Y'all are killing it this morning, doing a good job.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
What's
I'm glad
up?
you called.
We have Sports Talk coming up right after you. We have all kind of high school football going on. Jacksonville Cardinals, of course. You know, the
Go
big team in the
Cards.
county. The flagship station of the Cardinals, WSNE.
That's right.
So we will have Coach Bo Wiggins on today.
Oh, good.
And Tim Foster's going to be sitting in with us as co-host.
Oh, my
So we'll have a good
gosh.
time today.
Oh,
I
jeez.
need to stop.
The show's
by.
going downhill now. You're going to have Tim on there.
I need to
so,
go by
yeah.
tonight.
We'll be talking about the Cardinals, of course, high school football, big matchups this weekend. We've got Jacksonville at White Oak. That's always a
Yes.
huge matchup.
That is
huge
And then
amazing.
game.
Southwest at Richland. So two huge matchups
wow.
this weekend.
Very nice.
Tonight.
Okay. Well, good.
Both kickoffs are 7 o'clock tonight. Come see us, and we'll talk to you on the show in a little bit.
Okay.
That's right.
Thanks for calling in.
97.1 would be airing it.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, he comes on the air right after us.
On Fridays, yes.
Yep. So,
And I'm glad he did that
Mhm.
because we're just really involved in this, and we might have forgotten to mention it. But
yeah, we would have. Yeah.
Sports Talk is great, and
Yeah.
it has a lot of area sports on there. So be sure to listen after we're done here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so Tracy, just to recap everything, your husband, Master Sergeant retired Lanny Phil Parks, was in the Marine Corps for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And during his tenure in the Marine Corps active duty, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, which is 100% military related, and he's got a severe form. And so the issues that you're having now is like the VA's been providing the medical equipment, of course, your medication, stuff like that. But the problem that you're having now is that he is 100%.
Mm-hmm.
He's disabled 100% to the point that he cannot take care of himself, and you need help
Correct.
in taking care of him. And the problem is the VA is not recognizing this, and for them to somebody to tell you, well, why don't you just put him in a nursing home, or why don't you just have your teenage daughter help you, which I find is very unsatisfactory. It's wrong. I mean, we're telling the family unit you don't matter. We're telling you that your husband doesn't matter. And so just recap what you would like to see, what you would like for yourself, for your husband, for your family now.
We would like for the VA to recognize that his condition requires assistance and provide that to us to where he can thrive, because statistically it's shown that patients do better in home
Right.
than in a nursing home.
Correct.
That we can be a family
Mhm.
instead of nurses and caregivers,
Right.
and that he can have a quality of life with his family for whatever time he has left,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and
OS that down.
to fix it,
Right.
to look at what's going on and not establish another department or what have you, but look at this. This seems like it's disjointed, and it's not cohesive across the VA of what this is, and just ask basic questions. If he qualifies for a nursing home, what's the
Like, can
alternative
he
for
have-
someone
right.
that's young like this that wants to stay at home?
Right.
It's to
Yeah.
me, it's not rocket science.
No,
Right.
it's not. It's definitely not. I
No,
agree
it's
with
not.
that. Yeah.
Well, I think I would urge all our listeners out
Mhm.
there listening, if you're having issues with the VA, I think you need to contact your congressman,
Mm-hmm.
and let's get something going on this. Let's rally around behind this family and see what we can do to help.
Because I can tell you, I guarantee you, he's not the only one.
That's right.
Maybe not with this particular illness, but still that requires almost the same level care. And it's time that the VA understands that as more and more things are cropping up, they're going to find a more and more younger clientele.
Right.
So, and they need to, you're not just dealing with, 75-year-old
Right.
veterans. I mean, yes, they are dealing with them, but also they're young. There's guys in their 20s that are going to the VA. I know because I've got
Right.
some of them on my clients. So they can't, have this head in the sand approach. Well, we don't know what to do. Those days are done.
Right.
I mean, we have, as a nation, came along with too much medical care and stuff to have that, pass the buck attitude, period.
Well, my whole thing is let's honor this man now. Let's give back to this man and his family now. Let's not wait till it's all over with and go out there and have the big extravagant goodbye ceremony, which he's going to get that anyway. But I mean, let's do something now. Why are we waiting? I mean, why aren't we doing something as a government?
Well, there's more because it's him and all the other ones that are languishing as well under this bureaucracy, and that's exactly what
That's
this is. And one person should not have this much power.
That's
Right.
right.
Period. Bottom
That's
line.
right.
Bottom line.
Yeah. And
that needs
my
to
opinion,
change.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
she needs to be fired.
I just
That's
want
all
to
I've
go
got
fight
to
her
say.
in the parking lot. So,
We're gonna put our little vigilante group together.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
We're going.
this is outrageous. And like I said, this is a veteran.
Yes.
There should be no one in a higher regard that should be getting care over what he's done, because he did a job that most people would not walk
No.
into a situation where they knew there was anthrax or whatever other biological weapon there was, and potentially put their life in harm's way to fix and clean up. Most people would not. I guarantee that job in the military is a job a lot of people would not take. Like, no, I'll get out or I'll go do this. So he should be able to get everything and then some, not only that he rates, but as a thank you for your service.
And his
Yeah.
meritorious, the merits that he has earned during his time in the service. I mean, it goes to show right there what type of Marine he was.
He's a fearless one.
That's
Because
right.
I'm here to tell you, I can promise you, I would have never walked in a room with anthrax. Just wouldn't have done it.
No.
I'm not even ashamed to say I wouldn't have done it.
No.
This guy is a hero with a capital H.
Yes, he
And
is.
he should be getting far more than the treatment he's getting.
That's
bottom line.
right.
So we will not let this go. I can promise you. And we are going to rattle cages. And Congressman Murphy's team might as well be expecting to get some phone calls and
Yes.
visits tonight. So good that he is coming here, because he's about to get hit up with this. And Tom Tillis will be the next one.
Yeah,
So
that's right. We're going to
yeah.
work on it for
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
We're going to do what we can to help you out. I
Yes.
mean, we as a nation, we owe that to you.
We as
and your
Onslow
family.
County
That's
owes.
right.
Yeah, I mean,
We as residents right here at Camp Lejeune, we owe that to you.
and I think it's appalling that a man can't even get a nurse overnight. I just cannot fathom this right now. This is terrible.
Absolutely.
And Pete, thank you for helping too.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
and I know you're
so
not going to
much.
let this go. So
No.
I think that's a good thing.
No.
We're a
So,
band of brothers and sisters.
That's right.
absolutely.
Take care of each
yeah,
other.
That's
yeah.
right.
And we just got to draw attention to this. And if we don't start shaking up the VA system, it's not going to change. It needs
That's
to be.
right. And
There
we've-
needs to be a change.
And we've complained about
Yeah.
it for a long time.
So now it's time to stop complaining. We
That's
need
right.
action.
We've
Period.
had veterans on the show before
Yeah.
that have talked about difficulties that they have had. And it was mainly with getting appointments and
Which is
following
a
through.
problem.
Yes.
This man can't get a nurse. He can't get the care he needs.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
And for that person to tell you to put it on your teenage daughter
Right.
is absolutely
in a nursing
outrageous.
home.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want
Don't even get me
I
started
mean,
about a
you
nursing
know,
home.
we were talking earlier, my sister and I, we moved into my
Mhm.
dad's house and we took care of him his
Mhm.
last month.
Mhm.
You know, we didn't go put him in a nursing home. We didn't go put him in
But that's not the
hospice
answer.
facility.
Putting him in a
Right.
nursing home, he's going to get less care than he's
That's
getting
right.
now.
Oh,
Let's
yes.
be real. So
Exactly.
that's not the answer.
That's what we were saying. You
So-
don't get the care around here.
No. Well, Tracy, thank you very much
I
for
know.
coming in.
No,
I know
thank
this
you.
was
I-
hard, but you did excellent.
Right.
Yeah, you did
Thank
very
you.
good.
Fantastic.
I could not do your job.
And we will have you. We'll have you on again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so
absolutely.
much. I
Yeah.
can't.
This is not going to be a
thank you,
one
Pete.
and done thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And you
if you
guys
get
are
any-
warriors too,
Yeah, so-
because without you guys, we would have no hope. There's just
Well, I
nowhere
got a
else
big
for us to
mouth,
go.
so I will not. This
Yeah,
is
she
so
knows.
appalling. So,
Yes.
this is not going to be. Congressman Murphy's going to end up hating us by the time we're done, but that's
You
okay.
know,
That's what he's there for.
And
So,
being
yeah.
the daughter of a Marine, I mean, the veterans are so dear to my heart.
Mhm.
And it's just something that just sparks the fierceness in me when I see one or hear one being mistreated. I mean,
Absolutely, and this is mistreatment.
if my dad was
Yeah.
still alive today, oh, honey, you wouldn't have to worry about a thing. He'd be up there beating on Joe Biden's door right now. He'd be doing something because my dad loved his Marines.
Pete, what you got?
Always remember what the Marine Corps motto is.
Semper
Always semper
Fi.
fidelis.
Mhm.
That's
Always
right.
faithful to
Yep.
God,
Yep.
your family, and your country, and
Mhm.
especially in your brothers and sisters
And he's
Right.
in a
done
time
that.
of need.
Yeah.
Right.
We stand behind each other and we help
That's
each other.
right.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in. We're going to
Yes.
take our last commercial break. We're live in local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 M WSME. We'll be right back with a couple of dumb crook things. And we are back. Um, as you know, Fridays we usually do our dumb crook news, and we've had a very heavy topic today.
Yes.
So I
We
said I'm
probably
gonna have
need
to.
some
Yeah,
dumb crook
I've
news
got a
right now.
few dumb crook
We need
things.
to laugh.
Just because we need to, lighten the mood a little bit. So, and I'm, Florida seems to be my topic of places, and I don't know why they just seem to produce the dumbest of the dumb. Um, so I'm trying to pull this up. My computer's being really, really slow. What's happened? It's frozen up.
Yeah.
So there were two guys that were sitting in their house, and here we go. Yes, they were cleaning their guns.
Oh
Okay,
gosh.
they're not really criminals, but they did make the top 5 of dumb crook for this particular thing, just because it is kind of. They just said they were just really stupid, so they made that list. Two guys, Cody Morgan and Jeffrey Hertz, were in Orlando. So Morgan brought over his 38 caliber Taurus, and Hertz brought out his gun cleaning kit, and they decided we're going to clean your gun. So Morgan cleaned his gun, and Hertz sat across from him on the couch. So when Morgan finished cleaning the pistol, he handed the stuff over to Hertz, who began to clean his 9mm Ruger. While he's doing that, Morgan loaded his gun with 5 rounds. Somewhere in this whole loading thing, Morgan's gun went off accidentally. The bullet went through Morgan's left hand and hit Hertz in the upper right arm. So Hertz stood up super calmly, shockingly enough, grabbed his bloody arm and told Morgan, "We need to go to the hospital." And there's the police were impressed because they're like, most people be running around, yelling and screaming, carrying on. They got to the hospital and the police are like, they were super calm, which most people would not be. Dumb. How dumb are you?
Dumb.
And then one more, because it's going to be time to go. In Volusia County, a woman was a Family Dollar. She took a 50% off sticker and put it on a toy. She took the toy and other items to the cash register, but was told the toy was not 50% off. Well, of course not. So then she just kept on walking out of the store with stuff in her shopping cart. Like she just like, okay, well, I'm not paying for none of it. She was stopped by store staff. They took all the cart back with stuff and she left. So then she returns with her 2 kids. She took shopping bags, filled them up with items, and again walked back out without paying. The assistant manager followed the woman. 911 was called and tried to write her license plate number down. The woman starts beating the assistant manager, and then she started punching her face, and then had her kid join the fray to fight the assistant manager as well. Now, police are not there yet. Finally, the woman and the kids hopped back in the car. Then she tried to run over the beaten store manager, and finally was stopped by the police and arrested as she tried to leave. How dumb are you? And you got to bring your kids into it, and then
Dumb.
DSS got involved. I mean, it just became a whole big giant mess.
Goodness
I'm
gracious.
telling you. But
Well, just a reminder for everybody, Commissioner Bennett will be having his campaign meet and greet tomorrow, 12 to 3 on Henderson Drive, 2080 Henderson Drive. So be sure to go by that. WSME will be broadcasting the White Oak Jacksonville football game tonight, 97.1, 11:20 a.m. And you can also go online at www.wsme971.com. So be sure to listen up. Sports Talk is next. And Kelly, it's been a great week. Week
it's
2
been
of
a
3.
week 2. We got one more week and ready
One
for to
more
be back.
week.
So
Yeah.
everyone have a great weekend. Be safe. And we will see you again Monday morning at 7 a.m. Have a good day.